It's Forrest with Glossy and Forrest, and in this video I'd like to share with you on really this current state of the world, how the means of ancient wisdom, the teachings of the past, can be absolutely lessons for our soul, and how this can really take us from a deep state of despair and suffering to a place of tranquility, inner peace, calm, and just an overall better quality of life. We really don't have that many years on this planet. Really think about it. I myself is still pretty young, to be honest, but even with where I'm at in my own life, if I look back just a few years as I get older, time itself seems to be passing me by quicker and quicker. And I think the truth of the matter is that so many people live their whole life in a deep state of despair and regret. And what do I mean by this? There have been accounts, and maybe this could be a situation in your own life where you ask your ill loved one that's on the verge of passing over, what was their biggest regret in life? And more times than not, the biggest regret it was more so related around a regret of not doing something, going after a given, maybe it's a dream that they had, but they settled for what was comfortable, what societal conditioning conditions us to believe that we need to get a 9-to-5, we need to go to college, we need to get a degree. That really, as a spiritual person, to me, is a terrible existence. Now, if it meant for me to go through the schooling educational system, get a degree in something I was deeply passionate about, that I could help a lot of people, something that was aligned with my own values, then that would be a little bit better. But the way I see the educational system and how it completely conditions our mind is it's awful. It's a terrible situation. And to know that kids are continuously brought up in such a system is just, it's so repulsive to me. And I truly think that the wisdom of the past is so valuable now, because I've mentioned this in previous videos, is more of this deep, esoteric, hidden wisdom is now being brought to the public for people to, if they so choose and desire, to take these teachings, to implement them into their own life, to take the necessary actions, to go deep within themselves, their own internal universe, to completely and absolutely transform oneself on a deep, deep state, on a deep level. This, to me, is the only way that we're going to see everlasting and true, definitive change. And the change comes on the level of mind, on the level of ego, our identifications, our attachments, our desires. And across the board, it doesn't really matter any ancient manuscript or text that you look into. As I've mentioned before, I'm very familiar with the Gnostic tradition of Samael Weor. There is a clear distinction that the ego, that we actually consist of 97% ego, or you can also say 97% in darkness. We don't perceive the light because it's so conditioned by our own egotistical, egoic perceptions, which are like filters that filter out our reality, the way we see the world, the way we feel internally in terms of a connection to our inner self, to our spirit. Because by going through this work, by doing the deep inner work, the shadow work, healing ourselves, these are true lessons to the soul. Because what begins to happen is the essence itself begins to shine forth, begins to be the lens through which you see the world. Now, this is a very long work. It could take a whole lifetime. It could take multiple lifetimes. But the only way to get started is to start now, to realize this moment is the only moment that ever exists, the only moment that will ever exist. And so that in order to make change, we have to recognize this moment and to recognize that the action needs to be taken in this moment, because otherwise we'll continue to procrastinate and we'll continue to be a servant to our ego. And this means that there will never be any achievement spiritually. Ascension just simply will be a figment of one's own imagination if they are ran and controlled and manipulated by their ego. And a very powerful practice to help aid in this process, because it's very difficult, because these inner conflicts that we have, say for example, you want to go in one direction, but there's another part of you that wants to go into another direction. There's a part of you that wants to meditate, to do the deep inner healing work, and another part of you wants to watch TV and relax, eat junk food. These are egos, and they conflict one another. They literally fight to claim control of the body, because at any given time, a particular ego is expressing itself through us. And so when you're met with a situation where it's like, okay, meditate or watch Netflix and binge watch Netflix and eat terrible foods, what you want to do, and this is a very powerful practice, it's non-dual awareness, is to sort of zoom out as like a bird's eye perspective, and to see things as they truly are, which is neutral, which is complete neutrality. And then from that place, you're able to then easier make a decision that's actually going to benefit you, that's going to lead you to where you want to go. So instead of being absolutely identified and stuck within these patterns of beliefs and egoic desires and attachments, you're now then able to see the situation as its fullness, and then you can take the action that you want to take without feeling like you're pulled into each and every direction. And so many people do this, it's unconscious. They don't realize they're doing it. So first you must become conscious of the situation at hand, then take that bird's eye perspective or view to assess the situation in that awareness, and to see, I need to meditate, because meditation is going to lead me to more inner peace, more inner harmony, a connection to spirit, to whatever your belief system may be. And this is a constant battle, constant inner battle. But as we progress along the work of going within ourselves and doing the appropriate shadow work to heal ourselves on a deepest level, these things become easier. And as you begin to meditate, you begin to develop concentration, attention begins to grow, and you're not filtering out, you're not draining your capacities for concentration and attention in mindless things such as social media and binge watching TV shows. There's nothing wrong with these things inherently, but I think we have to really monitor our screen time in order to be able to better develop these spiritual capacities and abilities to lead us to an ascension spiritually. So that's all I have for you in today's video. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give us a like. Also comment below letting us know what you thought about the video. And all of our resources will be in the description below, including our Patreon, which is a great resource that you guys can look into. That being said, we truly hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll speak very soon.